Hi, all. Welcome back to Actual Play Band of Blades. We have returned from Origins. We are mostly whole. We're all here. Oh no, I'm hearing myself in my own.
Oh
That's
no,
I
echo is no good.
forgot to turn off the thing. So yes, I am Sean Nittner. I use he/him pronouns. You can find me on the Twitters at Sean Nittner. I have an announcement to make, but I'm not going to make it because someone else on the stream is going to. So how about you, Misha?
Hi, I'm Misha B. She, her. I'm on Twitter at BGGameworks. I didn't get to go to Origins. These guys ended.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I will be doing a charity stream for the Queen on Saturday. So if people want to tune in and watch, I will post a link for that later. How about you, Jen?
I am Jen Martin. I use she, her pronouns. I'm on Twitter at JenMartin80. My brain's still kind of mush coming back from Origins, but it was super fun con. I had ice cream. I hung out with friends. I got to meet Kira's snakes. It was pretty good. Sorry, Misha.
I'm sorry,
Soul and
Misha.
Andromeda, is that right?
Soul and Andromeda, yeah. Misha, I just earlier today was looking at a gif of Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal, and you're totally making Fizzgig face. Sorry. Alice, what about you?
You're muted.
Hi, yeah, just realized. Hi, I'm Alice. She, her pronouns. I'm standing in as a replacement for a session.
Thank you so
I
much.
have done, yeah, no problem. I've played lots of Band of Blades. Haven't been up to much recently though. This is one of my favorite games, and I'm ridiculously excited to play it again though. I make tabletop games like Kiss Before the World Ends and stuff, so that's mostly from friends of Strash and Sean and stuff.
Which is a very cool game that everybody should check out, by the way.
Sure, it's true. We'll post the link at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. How about you, Josh?
All right, so I have been announcing that there's going to be announcements for like ages now, and now I can officially say a thing, which is, if you are here watching us live, you will be the first people to know that the pre-order link on the Evil Hat site for the actual book of Band of Blades is live right now. Now, if you're not watching this, if you happen to be a Kickstarter backer, you're probably going to get a message after the show. If you're a drive-through RPG backer, you're going to get a message after the show. But if you're watching the show, you have like a 4-hour head start on everybody. So if you're interested in actually getting the game, you can go to the Evil Hat site. I'm sure that Sean will post the link in the doobly-doo. And so Band of Blades, it's been a long road, and I am very tired, but it is real. So I am super psyched, and hopefully folks will check it out. And if they think it's neat, they'll snags it. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Just saying that if you click that link right now and you pre-order it right now, you'll get a PDF right now. Just saying.
Grabby hands.
All right. Also, if you haven't seen the pictures of the book, you should go and check out Fred Hicks's Twitter because you're amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
It is 2.6 pounds of just beautiful, wonderful, delightful game.
Dang. All right. So, Jen, do you want to give us a recap of what happened last time?
I would love to give us a recap of what happened last time. I did bad today. What happened last time? It was 2 weeks ago, you guys.
It was before. It was
too many books.
Before Origins.
Why do I have 16 note cards that don't have any notes on them? Sorry. What did we do last time? I did the recap for Crimson Rising Tide. This was not the chicken mission. What did we do last time? I'm totally blanking. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Let's all help you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sean, you were gonna jump in. Go.
I was just gonna say yes. So we had the beautiful ceremony for Crimson Rising Tide, and we stayed in Barrack Mines. And wait, what am I blanking? Now I'm off by a session. What happened?
You're correct. You stayed in Barrack Mines.
We split the party, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey. Yeah,
there were two missions. The one that we didn't see was the one where a bunch of civilians that couldn't go high up in the mountains were taken to the forests of Talgon by the son of a priest there. And we have lost access to our officer and one of our heavies because they went with the civilians and they were going to try to break through Blighter's lines and enter the woods. Meanwhile, the mission we actually did play out was, anybody else want to take it away here? It was a city with the hound.
Yeah. We had lost.
Don't look at me.
No, we had lost. We had lost 2 of our ghost owls.
Oh,
They had
that's
gone
right. And
in.
the bridge at the end. The bridge at the end.
Yes, they had gone
yes.
in and to a small town that was sort of up in the mountains, and they'd sent off a signal, and we were going to recover them, and we found that the town had just been basically looked like it had been abandoned, and there was one person that we sort of saw, and it looked like they had like burnt. Their lips were burnt, and
we saw a corpse. It wasn't really a person, but yes.
Yeah, yes, it was a dead person. It was a corpse, but it wasn't undead, so it was in that liminal state. And normally death is not a liminal state, but in this game it is. And just as we looked up, this giant heartless, who we later found the name of, but in the moment he was just this towering heartless, threw this spear that would have impaled one of our rookies.
That's
if
right.
not for a little insight. And we then spent a good portion of the time running from that heartless, and then running from a very special hound known as the Eater that we found out later.
Oh, and Flavia got to use grenades. No,
Yes,
remember?
Flavia did get to use grenades.
Yep.
Do you want to take it from here, Laura?
No, please keep going.
Okay. The Eater burst out of this church, and Miltali was just like, how about you go back in that church? And so just sort of like bum rushed, powered, slammed it in, and then we barred the doors on the church and ran through the town to the other side where the ghost owls that were missing were hiding out. And that's when Flavia, in order to create a distraction for us to get out, chucked a grenade, and then we all hauled butt, and we would have made it out except for the rather sturdy bridge, the kind of bridge you think could take a lot of beating, had that heartless, which we later on found was oh my goodness, I've forgotten his name. I just had it a second ago. I have it written down. Voryevich. The Heartless Voyevich was waiting there and started destroying the bridge by just pounding it with his spear, which normally would not do much, but he was massive. And we just sort of barely made it across, with Miltali staying behind to clear the way. And then Miltali had to run across the leaping bridge, and Rhea jumped out to grab him, and they caught each other in the air, and tied off on a rope, they barely made it across. And we got back with intel on the Eater, who can eat the memories of the dead that he consumes, and the movements of Render's troops. Yeah, that's what it was. Just took me a second.
There we go. So hopefully everybody is now caught up. So I believe, as is our tradition, we finished all of our missions, and we did all of this stuff, but we need to go through the additional phases here. So let me pull up my campaign mission phase. 1 second. Boop.
I have an important note also. It says just before mission 7, which is last mission, was kissy times with Rhea. That's an important note.
Also that, we definitely needed to remind people of that.
Y'all were fucking holding out on me, is what happened.
It's been a good game. All right, so let's take a look at this. We've got bookkeeping. So we resolved all the missions, we did all the stuff, and now we have to do bookkeeping. So it's -1 morale for each legionnaire that died. I believe you folks actually got away scot-free last time. Is that correct?
Well, we did lose 2 in the secondary mission, but I believe we've already accounted for that.
Okay. And then in which case, if we've already done the bookkeeping phase, which I believe you,
I think we have,
then we're in the back to camp phase, which means Lord Keeper. We should do.
Yeah. So I need to tell a tale, because we had 4 dead names, or names of people that died. And I totally failed to write that today, even though I had bags of time at work. Because I was like, no, I just did a tale. I don't have to do another one. We didn't kill 4 people.
You should stop letting people die. Do you want to wing it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wing it. It's not gonna be as detailed, but they don't all have to be. It'll be fine. So this is a tale of the Legion's unyielding will. We have fought holy and unholy since our inception, even in the God Wars, when Chosen took arms against Chosen. So which previous Chosen did the Legion fight beside? I actually think it was Zora.
Oh, interesting.
I think she's fought with us before.
Awesome.
I think it was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I mean the God Wars happened like 100+ years.
Yeah, when did those happen?
We actually have a timeline.
I know, I have it
I don't
printed.
have it in front of me, but we do have a timeline.
No, I have it. I just have to find the paper.
been a bit.
Timeline. The Empire shattered. Nope, the Gods War is -191. So it's almost 200
wow.
years ago.
Yeah.
This is why I picked Zora though, because she's that old.
Yep.
She's much older than that.
Well, yeah. And then against which supernatural threat did they fight? I think we've already seen a big serpent thing recently in our game. I already established the Darkbringer, which was cool. I think it was like a swarm horde insect thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Like
it was
giant insects or just
A giant swarm, like a critter, like it's
yeah,
like a swarm.
like a dog size, like a small dog size, but like a bajillion of them.
Okay.
Not bigger than a person. Like one person can handle one of them easily, but you know.
Oh, it's like a wave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yes.
What were they like? If you had to pick 3 traits to describe them, what did the notes in the annals say?
Sure. The traits say that they made this incessant chittering noise. That they
This is showing up.
they had a venom. They had teeth that when they bit you, poisoned you, and usually killed you, unless you were Zora.
You realize Josh is writing all these things to bring it back down. So
Yeah,
I think they should also have sparkly rainbows that come out of their butt and
No,
heal
that's-
everyone
no.
who is
Sorry,
past.
Sean.
Because
That's not how I
eyes.
do. No. Sorry. Okay, so they were chittering noises. They were venomous. Also, what's fun? Also they fly.
Also, they fly.
Yeah.
OMG. Okay, super brief.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry.
Super brief aside. The first time, the first week of my job, I had to go talk to a client, and they sent me to Texas, and that's the first time I ever saw a cockroach that flies.
Oh,
So I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh God, there's cockroaches!" And then I think I messaged John, and I was like, "They fly! Who made them fly? Who designed this thing? This Amazon overnight flamethrowers?" Like,
No, but
nope, never go back there again.
No.
hairspray and a lighter will do.
Yep.
Good to know. I'll go prepared next time. What do you want from this duty-free shop? A lighter and lots of hairspray. All right, cool.
1 case of hairspray, please.
Good to know. All right, awesome. So what other questions do you have?
So the other thing that I need to answer is how many Legionnaires survived and how did they rebuild the Legion? I actually don't think it was sort of as bad. Like our numbers weren't as bad as they are kind of now. I think if I remember correctly, at our height we had over 1,000 ?
Sure. You're the lore keeper.
Oh, I feel like
the Legion
we established this earlier.
1,000. They have like that was what they marched with here.
Gotcha. So I think we got down to like 300. Like we had significant losses, but we still had like plenty to come back from. And I think the way that we rebuilt the Legion was actually like kind of going town to town and like recruiting from different towns. And I think that might have been one of the first times that we did like a cross cultural push, right? Like we used to be a little bit more like sort of insular and we didn't have people from every country. And then we lost so many people and we were like, well, if we want to survive, like we have to take everybody. And I think it actually rebuilt the Legion much stronger than we had started out. and it was definitely a good thing. So
Cool.
because of this tale, our chosen is moved. She gains 1 favor.
Nice, which puts her at 4, I believe.
Yep.
Fills up her clock.
She gets power.
She gets
Ding.
a move.
So let's have a chat about this. I kind of like 2 powers, and I wanted to get the players' input on them. The first one is she has the ability to eat corruption. So whenever you rest and recuperate, she removes 2 corruption from all legionnaires. And the other one that I've been thinking about is you can spend religious supplies to fuel both religious and assault missions. And whenever you spend them, you equip both reliquaries and black shot. It's not actual black shot, but it's shot that's gonna kill undead, but good. So yeah. So those are the 2 that I like. That I think Zora would most likely gain. One is called the Living God's Fury. The other one I think is called Living God's Kiss. So do you folks have a preference?
Clearly, whichever one says kiss.
Yeah, I want to see the one. We know that Zora is like super creepy and that she wants to eat all the blight and eat all the things. And I want to see her I want to see the Zora eating corruption thing because I know she wants to eat Matiar's hammer and like also her siblings. So
that was going to be my suggestion, but mostly because if for somehow you miraculously do the like secondary mission that I like think that I want us to do and get the thing that it gives, that would be real handy to have then.
Yeah.
The spear when used gets corruption. So like good synergy there.
Who can eat corruption would be good. Yeah. I think the eating corruption is the kiss is Living God's Kiss.
Too. Yeah, it is.
I feel like we're all in alignment for different reasons. Oh, what about you, Jen?
That's fine.
I think that the Fury is the more practical choice. I feel like we talked about this 2 weeks ago. But I'm not against either.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's 3 for Kiss, and Jen is 4 Fury, but not very strongly.
Sure.
How's that?
Yeah.
So I think we'll go with the corruption eating. How's that?
I also don't gotta live with the consequences of my actions. So I don't exactly have to live with with the consequences here. So
all right.
Oh,
cool.
I think you do have to live with the consequences. I think we will haunt you.
Yeah. All right, so Zora is 0.
Yeah, but I could live with that.
She picked up the power. Cool. Nice. Let's do back at camp scenes, which is you again, Jen.
Yep.
Always you at the start.
It's always me at the start. Yeah. So we are at medium morale, correct?
No, we're high.
Are we high?
Yeah, we're finally high because we were up to 10 and then we lost 2 beeps.
Yeah, we lost 2. Yeah.
See,
So,
I
yes.
don't have to pick the one that Josh and I had a conversation about.
You don't
that.
have to.
Yeah, you always
can, though.
can. Yeah.
I can.
I mean, you might want to leave it so that when we are at medium morale, you have an option.
Well, and that's the thing is like I'm interested in it story-wise, but the practical part of me is like, cool, we actually haven't been at high morale for a while, and I kind of want to take it while I have the chance. What'd you say, Misha?
It's a good plan.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, no, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Soldiers hold a remembrance for the fallen, which seems appropriate.
Seems appropriate since we've lost a whole lot.
Especially Crimson Rising Tide.
Right.
And Indigo.
And Indigo.
Totally right.
Indigo was right and died. And then Crimson Rising Tide tried to make their life worth something and died.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Soldiers Hold a Remembrance for the Fallen. And I'm sorry, Strash. I liked your idea.
Well, the problem is you have just destroyed all my prep. This reminds me that I should never prep. Carry on.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, Strash, did you have the whole?
I had maps. I had all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, let's do.
It's all good.
Thing then.
No, we're fine. Carry on.
Okay. If it makes you feel any better,
It's something you could do in the future. Sorry.
No, it's dead. Everything is location based. It's
This is a lesson for Strash.
Yeah.
Education.
Step one, do not waste multiple hours making shit. Check.
Never prep.
I was gonna say, if it makes you feel any better, after this, we only have one more high morale scene I can check off before I have to start going medium morale. Yeah, so what does our camp look like? I can't remember.
Well, we're in Barrack Mines right now, so our camp is actually like
We're
largely the
in
town.
like the buildings, yeah.
Yeah. We have some tents outside the buildings for a few people, but mostly we've sort of set up shop inside town.
Okay. Yeah, so actually I think what it is we have burned the bodies of the soldiers that we've been able to, right? Not all of them, but many of them. And I actually think that we bury the ashes in the town cemetery. And I think this is just that ceremony, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
We've made a big point about saying that we always burn the dead so that they can't come back to become to fight us. But I don't think we've ever seen that on screen.
Yeah. What does burning look like? I mean, I don't think burning of the body is particularly ceremonial. We do it fast so that way, the bodies can't be like corrupted or whatever.
Did big pyres with lots of people in one pyre, or
if we have a lot of bodies, yeah.
I mean, 2 people died last mission.
Yeah.
I believe 2 died before then as well.
2 died before then, but at least one of those
we don't have the body for.
Oh.
Yeah. Did we get Crimson?
I don't know.
We got Crimson. Yeah, we have both of those. We have Ignacio and Crimson because we won that mission. We just lost them.
Yeah. It was Indigo who we left behind.
It was Indigo who, yeah, because nobody knew that she was even dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if we have a lot of bodies, like it's a big pyre, right? I think it's ceremonial in that, soldiers stand around, and like hold space and silence, but I don't think that the Legion particularly has a ritual for the burning part. I think now that we have a little bit of time and we're in a town and there is a cemetery, we were like, oh, we could do this for real. And so that's why we're doing it. So I actually think that there's a lot of folks at the cemetery.
Yeah, I think the burning, if it's okay with you, the burning feature is sort of a semi-new thing for us because we're up in the mountains and wood is not super prevalent, but coal is. And we have some alchemists, or we will have had some alchemists that are working on refining it so that it burns hotter. So I think we might have some effectively like Duraflame bits of coal that like we throw in and they burn really fast and really hot and kind of get the whole thing started, because burning bodies is not actually a very pleasant thing at all.
No, it's not.
And so to sort of expedite it's a pretty nice fire rather than, oh my god, the smell of burning people, there's some sort of alchemically treated coals that kick it to start up faster.
Yeah. Okay, so if the flames start up faster, they're still not getting very much hotter, like we still have bones out of these fires, right? Because just a regular temperature fire is not hot enough to get rid of like bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So we'd be burying the bones and ashes of our friends. God, that's so depressing. I love it so much. Yeah, so it's not tenable for us to play like 20 characters total, so
no, but we can just pick whoever's around.
Yeah.
Well, if we're burying, I assume it would be at least part of their squad.
Yeah, we have Arun Yadav and Graf Zardani, but I don't know where they originally came out of.
They were stags. We did not
They
move
were
them to
stags.
the graveyard yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Graf was real upset. And then he
Graf
died.
was
Yeah.
real upset. Oh, you know what? Graf though isn't with us. Graf died on the mission that Zionova took.
Oh, what
So-
about Arun?
so
Yeah, Arun
It would just be Ignacio Montoya and Rising Tide.
Crimson Rising Tide.
Because the other two
yeah.
we haven't connected back up with them
That's
yet.
true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is even more weighty, I guess. And Crimson Rising was Grinning Raven, right? They were both Grinning
They're
Ravens.
both Grinning Ravens, yeah.
Okay, so I want Sean to play Grey Wafting Smoke. I want Alice, will you play Irinov Boryevna? I'm gonna play Flavia, and I would like Misha to play blah 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 the Marshal.
All right.
Which seems appropriate.
I think Josh should play
I'm good.
Zora if she decides to join us.
Oh, that's interesting. Would Zora, well, let's talk about this for a sec. Well, not that she gives a shit. I was gonna say Zora's not technically Legion, right? Like, this is burial for the Legion. Would Zora just show up to randomly people getting buried?
I mean, there was an important scene we had last episode with Zora cheering up the Grinning Ravens.
I mean, I was going to say Crimson Rising Tide died in the mission that was cleaning up Zora's fucking mess.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So it's totally your call, Jen, but I think the idea of Zora showing up makes sense.
I like the idea of her showing up. I have no requirements for her staying or actually interacting.
Okay.
So if she wants,
if you want her to show up, we can do this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, she'll either like stand. No, actually, she probably won't. Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So who's the corporal? I think it's Grey Wafting Smoke. Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hang on. Gray is Gray. Gray's a soldier. Flavia's also a soldier. Cool. Yes.
So, I think Gray like takes the torch and throws it into the fire. Throws it in, like starts the thing off. As sort of like that's their responsibility. As corporal of the squad, and is like kind of looks ashen for a little bit, just sort of has like this thousand-eyed stare for a little bit, and is like, remember that time that son of a bitch ran off and like our sniper had to catch him from that horror that almost tore his head off, and he like had a shield on his back. It was pure luck that he was carrying that shield on his back, because that horror ripped that shield apart and it would have been his back. That lucky son of it, and like, where are the Grinning Ravens? We laugh at death. We had the moment of like sorrow, and this is the moment where Gray is like trying to like carry on the levity, and like sort of turns and tries to get everyone else to start telling stories of Ignacio and Crimson Rising of just telling war stories and laughing about them.
I was going to say, I feel like we can tell the story about that time Zora like stripped us of most of our clothes and weapons and left us out, and Crimson Rising, like we got back and Crimson was just like, fuck yeah. We got the symbol and it's shown and it was cool.
I think Irinov is like off to the side because isn't feeling the like celebrate the dead sort of mood, and is in front. So what are the dead's names again? The ones that died recently.
Crimson Rising Tide and Chevalier Ignacio Montoya,
who was a very, very pretty person, I must say.
That is a name you cannot have if you are not, honestly. Like that is a hot person's name.
Yeah.
Which it is. I pick my names carefully, thank you.
And pictures.
Oh shit. They had a picture? Let me check
Oh,
it out.
yeah.
Carry on. It's
All
cool.
right.
That's why I was so sad when I was sad when both of them died. Neither.
I'm also checking real quick because I need to know how hot. Oh,
It's
that is
very
a
hot.
that is a
When you first
hot
get
Definitely
man.
Musketeers. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Let's share this with everybody. Sorry, we're all looking at it, and I'm not just putting it up on screen.
It's
There's-
D'Artagnan from the BBC Musketeers.
So I think
Yes.
Irinov is like over the site that is now the Chevalier's grave, and like has is like muttering to themselves and like clutching something that was like something they wore, like a brooch or something,
Mhm.
muttering like a funeral dirge, a Zenyatta funeral dirge. And like I think like if they like they'll probably get like a little louder as it goes on until people like maybe start joining in a bit, and then like tears are going down their eyes near the end, and then they like afterwards just sort of stand there for a second and walk off.
Nice.
The marshal is listening to the stories and is getting slightly more and more worried as these stories go on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is the Marshal there?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Visha, are you okay playing Marshal?
Oh yeah, totally.
Awesome. Okay, Gray comes up to Marshall at some point. Then, like, I think when the dirge ends, like when it's like when everyone's like, you know, we kind of have gotten quiet, and you know, it's less boisterous. And Gray's like, Marshall, we need 2 more ravens. We can't laugh in the face of death if there's no one to laugh. We need to go out there. We need to show Zora our glory. We need to prove that Crimson and Ignacio made us stronger, not weaker.
I forgot that Grey Wafting is also a fan of Zora. Carry on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying who. I'm not like Graf. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job.
Oh, you're sure?
I'm just saying we can't go out like this.
I'm fully aware of that, dear. As soon as I have recruits that I can give you, I will make sure you're back at full strength.
But you're going to give us good ones, right? Like rookies that like eat iron and spit lead or whatever that thing is. You know, like they're worthy of being ravens.
We will see what we get. But if they're worthy enough to wear the badge of the Legion, they are worthy enough to be a raven, don't you think?
Yeah, that's true. Especially if Zora gives them the okay. Yeah, whatever you say, Marshall. You're right. It's not my job. But we're ready. We're ready. As soon as you suit us up, we'll go back out.
Good to know, dear.
I think that's probably the moment when Zora actually steps up to the pyre, and sort of like looks at it, and then looks back to the assembled crowd, and just says, "Brave soldiers die, but their memories echo forward. Remember their glory." And she looks in particular at the corpse of Crimson and says, "They did laugh at death." And then she makes a gesture, and like the fire does this thing where it goes from like fire colored to like brilliant white. And there's this like coruscating explosion of flame upwards, and it actually takes the form of a raven for like a half second.
Nice.
Which
I
is
would have loved that.
Crimson
Which
would
is-
have like peed their pants.
Yep.
So like right, so like there's this like explosion of fire, and for like a split second, it's almost like a phoenix, right? Like it's a raven, but it's like out of flames. And that's when you folks hear echoing from below the hills, because this wasn't the mission done. The sound of horns. It's a sound of horns and the sound of drums. And like literally it's just like a giant pillar of fire, and there's the answering sound.
Drums in the deep.
Exactly. And Zora turns around, looks down the mountain, and just says, "We should probably get packing."
Zora made our flag
Oh, yeah.
flame, right?
Oh, it's been burning since that day.
Yeah, right. But does it like flare up when she does it as well? Does it like?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
that
just
sounds
imagine
fine.
it
Zora
gets.
gets fire powers. We'll go with that.
Right. Cool.
It's like a magician's trick. It's like fire paper.
Because one of us is definitely holding that banner right now.
Awesome.
We're
Oh, yeah.
definitely, that's how we can move.
Question. So I know y'all are fighting Render. What's the other broken?
Blighter.
Blighter's not around. If you take a look at the map, you can actually see who's moving which way. The
No.
red represents Render's troops. The green represents Blighter.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we haven't seen Blighter in a hot second, but I'm sure she'll turn her head. I mean, we did destroy her
He's
big.
seen you.
That.
He's seen you though.
Yeah. Blighter's the one that actually thrashed the Legion pretty soundly. Render's troops move slow, but they're catching up. At this point, Render's like a choo-choo train. He's building speed and motion.
Yeah.
He's got mass. He's got weight. Cool.
Free play scenes?
Mhm.
I have one.
Realistic.
Totally do it, Sean.
Okay. This is a flashback scene to last time before
Before fucking Zionova left.
Before Zionova left, if that's okay. This is just Zionova and Rhea in the tent. And this is as perhaps just before the kissy times are going to begin. And Zionova says, the marshal is sending me to Duresh, so I won't see you for a while. And she takes off her hat, and you see that there's this ugly, gnarly scar along top of her head that her hat normally covers up. It's an old one. It's not new. And she like pulls this badge that the Shattered Lions that she had as her like 51st Legion squad badge that doesn't exist anymore. There is no 51st anymore.
Right.
And she pulls the pins out, and Rhea has all of these Barton accoutrements, and if you're okay with it, she like presses it and pins it and adds it to Rhea's
Charms.
A collection of charms. Yeah.
For those of you watching that don't know, there's a custom amongst the Bartons that if you grow really close to someone, or if they do something spectacularly important to you, you give them a charm. And there's a lot of Barton fairy tales and stories that start with somebody presenting a charm from a specific family or person, because it's a symbol of like close friendship, and it's almost like cashing in a debt. It's not a barter transaction, it's a friendship transaction. But if somebody shows up at your house and says, your family is my friend, you're probably going to let them stay for the night and feed them, that kind of thing, you know?
Right.
So,
yeah.
So like a lot of big business partnerships and stuff are sealed with charms.
Yeah. So this matters a lot to a bunch of dead Zemyati.
But also, you got pinned.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a thing? I must be missing a reference.
It's often in sorority fraternity relationships. It's like a step before engagement almost. It's like a symbol that they will give you your fraternity pin or their sorority pin kind of thing.
Fascinating. All right.
Nice.
Not a thing I'm familiar with, but neat.
Nice. Is that okay with you, Jen?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I've taken off so Zionova's hat will no longer have the badge. Cool. That was mine.
Sean, you should do your. Well, Does anybody else have free play scenes they want to do? If not, I'm going to ask my players how permissive they want to be to me, because I was going to suggest a thing that may happen if, but I don't want to like force it. It's just I had some cool ideas for story, and I didn't know.
Say your damn words, Josh. Just say them.
Spit it out.
You have good instincts. We will probably go with it.
So I think that there's like I want to do like a quick brush stroke and just talk about a couple of things that happen. I'm gonna try and pull in some of that prep. I'm sorry, it's just a tiny bit.
No, do it. Yeah.
It's only in free play land, so no one's actually gonna die here. But I feel like as you folks are spending the last 3 days in Barrack Mines, if you recall, the majority of the town has already moved.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a ghost town now, right? Like it's the Legion and not a whole lot else. Like the majority of the town has gone north. A whole chunk of it has gone south and east out of the mountains. So the majority of the population of the town right now is actually you folks, right? Like it's you, your laborers, your camp hangers on, support crew, all that kind of stuff. And
The bandit group.
Yeah, actually the bandit group as well. And there's actually a number of there's a number of townsfolk that have stayed just to help out and sort of like secure things, collect the last few items, sort of follow the path. And I wanted to say, like, I think that because you folks have spent so much time here, this happens usually. So one of the premises of Bandit Blaze is that while folks are away on missions, the camp gets attacked, right? Like that's why you leave units in camp and are chosen to defend the camp, so that when Blighter is like, well, maybe I can just wipe the Legion out, or she's like, but what if I just bombard all of your supplies? Like Zora plus the Legion can be like, no. And so I was gonna say that this is like a point where the enemy army actually shows up and engages.
Nice.
And you folks have to kind of deal with that. So what is that? I was gonna ask for like, pick a person that you feel is interesting in the roster and tell us what they're doing. Like imagine that there's like a camera and it shows us like a minute or two of someone's life during this whole scene.
Oh, I have a great one, I think. Let me pick a random rookie number 4. Let's see.
I just want to stress that because this is free play, we should not like wipe the roster. So.
Oh yeah.
The stags are not currently in camp, so anybody but them.
The stags are currently where?
They're with Zainova.
Oh, they're in the forest.
Oh yeah. Hey, Josh, will you move Graf and Aaron to the graveyard?
Graf and what?
Graf, Sardani, and Aaron.
I was gonna say, I love how Sean asked that in such a flippant manner. Like he's not asking 2 dead people to be moved.
Yes.
It's fine.
We don't have GM privileges to move it.
I fixed it.
Thank you. So yeah, the stags are out, as are the ghost owls, I think. Ghost owls went to go pick up there. Those are the 2 that were on mission last time.
I finally gave pictures to Flavia.
You can pick a ghost owl if you want, because I think this is probably after everyone's returned to camp.
Okay.
Because if the burial scene happened after return, then it's definitely after return to camp. If it happened before, then it's not.
So I think we see Coral Drifting Reef, who's a rookie of the Shattered Lions. They were out on like patrol, like they were like out on the outskirts of the town when this happened. When they stormed in, they were cut off. So I think what we end up seeing them is a lot of like, I think they're like paniard trait or like eel scales along the side of their head that like shimmer and stuff. And so we see a lot of them like running and hiding and like panting and like having to dodge because they can't fight, but they're like completely cut off from the camp. So we see a lot of like Heartless move in and stuff like that. And you like that, and like, or like a what are they called? The dog ones. I can't remember their name.
The hounds.
The hounds. We see like several hounds like pass by where like they're up in a tree, like covering their mouth, like trying not to breathe to give away their position and stuff like that.
Oh.
Nice. I love it. I think we also see Sergei Grigorovich, one of the ghost owls, who's come back. Sergei is like losing their mind talking to the quartermaster, and they're like, you gave Flavia grenades, why can't I have grenades? There are people here, right? I can pull a pin. I watched her do it. She just pulled a pin and she's, do you see what's out there? And Sergei is just like losing their mind trying to get the quartermaster to give them a grenade to throw at the Heartless that's like rampaging through the camp. And the quartermaster's like, nope, you got training, not happening. And
well, first off, you're talking about pins. That's not how these work.
Exactly, right? Sergey doesn't know what the hell they're talking about because they're not a grenadier.
Exactly, got to get certified. That's the rules.
And they're just like I think they end up like running out of the quartermaster's tent with they end up running out of the quartermaster's tent with like there's some gunpowder that is like hasn't been put into shells yet, and they like that's where it happens, I guess. Sure. And they try to like make like an improvised bomb and like nearly blow their hand off in the process. It's like it's like catches on fire, and it's super dangerous in there. And you know, for whatever good they do, they again like nearly kill themselves. They burn their eyebrows off, not knowing what they're doing. But yeah, that is their attempt to defend off the horde.
Story checks. I think the Landgrave, Kanania Patlach, is she's like yelling at like any at the like semi-trained rookies, like the ones that haven't actually officially become rookies yet, but she's like drilling, like just like she would if it was a drill. It's like, all right, form a line, steers that, you know, and it's just like yelling and just getting them to like hold a section to keep that corner of the wall from caving in, and plugging a hole that's in the defenses.
Nice.
I'm gonna cheat and go with Rhea because I mean I could bring in a new name, but really
that's awesome.
Overwhelmingly, I think Rhea has been crying because the war is getting to her, and it's scary to open your heart when the person might be dead. And so she's been crying, and then this all happens. And she very matter-of-factly like wipes her eyes and like rolls up her sleeves and tends to somebody who has like a gash in their arm or something, and she just puts the I was gonna say mask, but actually Orites do wear masks in this setting. Puts the work face on and just gets to work.
All right, I have one thing to add here. I think there's so just to kind of showcase something. The Undead don't actually have infinite troops. So Render's actually deployed only like maybe like 100 to 200 tops. And the reason that's relevant is because it's like 4 times the size of the Legion. So you're outnumbered basically 4 to 1. But more importantly, one of the things that like it gets nasty, right? Like the pressure becomes real. Like there's grenades going off, fires are setting up, folks are having to like skirt like flanks. The Black Oak Knights actually have solid formation, and their horses don't seem to care when they're shot and stuff like that. So it's it starts getting a little tense, right? Like it feels almost overwhelming, and then there's a moment where you just see that brilliant light and the burst of fire where like Zora gets to do her Star of the Dawn thing, and she like leaps over the barricades where like people are they have their guns out, they have bayonets on them, they're like shooting down the line, like Blackshot is firing, you see the explosions of green fire and everything. And when she starts going, she just tells them to like rotate flank, like clear the right, and she just starts running forward. And it's almost like a scene from like a Gundam anime, right? Like her sword is made of fire, and as she goes through like Render's undead and her sword like cuts through them, some substance in their blood ignites, and they just go up like candlesticks. So yeah, like she starts whipping through them, and for a split second it feels like you've got this, like they may have you 4 to 1, but she's like 100 to 1 against them. And that's the point where there's like another blast of those horns, and Render himself actually like takes the field, and the two of them clash. But I think there's just like a moment where like Zora realizes that he's like out, she looks back towards the walls and she's just like, pack up and move. And then she just like goes right for him, right? And he's got like 2 squads of like Black Oak Knights. He's got like several Heartless with him, and he just says, "No, she's mine." So the 2 of them clash, but it's like distant, right? Like battlefields are chaotic. There are buildings. People are like leaping around. Things are on fire. There's smoke everywhere. It's hard to see. It's hard to know. But I'm curious afterwards. Essentially, like if the Legion moves, they don't see Zora again for like a couple days. What are the stories that people like? There is a certain point, by the way, where in the fight, the undead just immediately retreat. It's like they all just give up and they retreat like instantly. What is everyone's story about what happened between Zora and Render? I don't know if anyone actually saw it. If you want to claim that you saw it, that's fine. Just what do people say happened?
Oh, I have this idea that no one saw Coral the entire time, so they're like, yeah, I saw it. I saw the fight from the tree I was hiding in because I was fucking dead if I didn't.
Awesome. I'm curious actually. Zora's gonna be wounded. Do you actually like pull her back to camp, or like what's the story there, Coral? Do you wait until like the battlefield clears and then bring her in?
Oh yeah, the thought is that like only caught bits and pieces of it. I saw like fire shoot from the sky and realized that's where Zora was, and like I saw like the tail end of Render like leaving, and then like once everyone cleared, like dragged Zora back to camp.
Awesome, this sounds great. What do the rest of you think happened?
I think Gray would have stuck around at least for a while because Gray is very pro Zora, and I think Gray Wafting Smoke. Their story is, her story is that when Render saw Zora call upon the True Flame, he quaked in fear, and that she has, that she's wrestling for control of the True Flame, and she's going to one day take it away from the Cinder King, and she's going to remake the 10-pointed crown. She's only got 1 now, but she's going to get all 9 of Cinder Kings. And when Render realized that she was going to take that power from the Cinder King via him, that's when he fled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else's theories here?
The lore keeper would have tried to watch every fucking moment because she is obsessed with the relationship between Zora and Render. She needs to get to the bottom of that shit.
Awesome.
Nice.
I mean, there was definitely rumors about the commander and Zora. We know there were rumors.
Great. I'm so glad to be playing the fucky one.
Misha?
I think the so Cobalt Raging Blaze is her. This is what like snaps her out of that shell shock she's been in. Is like she hears the horns and she like bolts up and she's like running straight towards where Zora is. Probably not terribly wisely and definitely not armed or anything. But so she sees it, but it never quite percolates into her memory as to what exactly happened. So they like kind of find her wandering around later, like
Fog of War.
Yeah, totally Fog of War, somehow uninjured. But yes, she saw what happened. She just doesn't remember yet.
Okay.
This might come up later.
Maybe it'll come back to her.
Cool. Yep. All right. So let's have a talk about, campaign actions.
Yeah. I'd like to frame these campaign actions before that, if this is okay, because I want to be doing things in Barrick's mind.
That sounds fine. Yeah, because you technically are in location until you advance.
Until we advance, yeah. All right. So Marshall, we're at 8 morale, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So that means we have 2 campaign actions. We're going to spend the first one doing Liberty. So we're gonna go up to 10 morale.
Very good.
And everybody mark off 4 stress. Marshall, do you wanna go through and do that?
Yeah.
Cool. The second one that we're gonna do is let's play around with this a little bit. Alice, will you play Contessa Victoriana? I don't know how much you want to play this out. You don't necessarily have to, but the quartermaster is like, I guess you're my new officer now because Zainova's not around and you seem to have connections. I need another alchemist. You got me one. I need another one. Get me more. Use that sway you have to get me another alchemist.
What's Gordon? What's she under?
She's a specialist.
She's a specialist. She's our sniper.
Oh, I do love me some snipers. I mean, she's like, I can ask around, but I don't know how much luck I'll have. Most of like, I
don't want
imagine
to hear about luck. I want to hear about you getting me an alchemist right now. I'm not coming back until you dig one out of the mines. If you have to.
I mean, I'll be sure to get the best pickaxe to get a just nice and shiny one for you.
Awesome.
I'll go look.
Thank you.
So I believe Barrack Mines has 1D.
Yeah.
Is that am I correct?
That is correct.
For sure.
Cool.
There's one kill of radish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You gotta roll 1 die and we'll see what you get.
Cool.
But if you get a 4 or 5, you still get an alchemist.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna
can do it on a 1 or 2, a 1 to 3.
Yeah, noble. I'm just gonna
Technically,
boost
no. Noble only works. Sorry, I fucked this up last time, but it's fine. We're just gonna leave it be as it was. It just matched one time, but noble only works on actions that affect you. It's not actions that you're assigned to. It's literally the ones that affect you. So essentially, the premise is that if someone spends liberties, you have extra coin for slightly better liberties. If you have rest and recuperation, you can pay for better medicines because you're noble and you have funds from your homeland.
Cool. Well, I have a flashback idea, but we do not want more stress on a sniper going into next mission. So I think I'll just roll the 1 die.
If you roll a 1 to 3, you'll still get an alchemist. It just might not be a fantastic one, or you might have a couple ticks of corruption on him.
4.
There you go. You just get an alchemist.
All right.
I have to name them.
I think I named them, right? That's cute. Or do you?
I mean, no. You get one.
Yeah. Marshall would name it.
Do you want to?
I mean,
or I guess non-legion.
Take it away. You can name them. Give them an alright name, and you're fine.
They are Ruben Grossi, and let me get their title. 1 second.
Oh no, their title is usually like Grand Alchemist or like Adeptus something.
Nice. Yes.
It's usually related to their like position in their like little engineer priesthood thing.
They are we're in Barrack Mines right now. They are Mine Alchemist Ruben Grossi. They're from this area. And I had another one that I got last time, and I'm going to rename her because she's literally the name of a character in the book.
It is totally okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Everyone in the book is not canonical. It's just things that we pick to provide flavor. It is definitely not this legion, and this legion is all that's real in our game.
All right. So we have Landgrave Aurora. Landgrave Aurora Rodano is our.
All right, here you go.
Is our alchemist.
I also do love me my Landgraves.
Yeah.
It's a cool title.
Okay, that is my second campaign action. And then I'm going to spend a supply to get a third one, which is I'm going to send Rhea in to get us some food because even though we have radishes, they're not going to hold us. It's going to be a long ways before we can get any supplies.
If I have to eat one more radish, I swear to God, someone's going to wake up with like bludgeoned to death with one.
You're going to eat the radishes and you're going to like it.
Fucking quartermaster.
Try the vodka. It's much better use of their
Like everyone walks into the quartermaster's tent and they've been strangled to death by like the little like strands at the top of radishes.
Green, yeah.
Probably breed
Okay,
those
what
into
am I rolling? What am I
You're
doing?
gonna roll one die,
Okay.
and try to get a high number.
I pictured like Daisy chaining them together. Like,
Yeah,
Sure.
you have to get a proper grip. You're supposed to do the
I did
knuckle roll.
not. I got a 3.
All right.
That's okay. So you're gonna get food, but there's not a lot of food left, right? Because everyone packed up and left.
Right.
So you're just gonna get 1 food box, but you're only gonna get 2 base food. You're gonna get 1 less bubble. That's all.
Because of supply carts, I normally get 4. So
That's fine. So you'll just start with 3.
Okay. All right.
It's
leaves us
-1. It's not
right.
too.
It's not too hard. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. That leaves us with 5 food. So that's not great, but that's what it is. And then I'm marking supply down. I should probably do this on the screen. Let's do it over here where everybody can see. And then I have all sorts of long-term. So that's all my campaign actions. Then I have all sorts of long-term projects.
Yeah, you do.
Awesome.
So we are going to send everybody to continue working on the steam engines. That is an 8-tick project. We're going to send our Orite laborers, the clock worker and his daughter. We're going to send the laborers we started with, and we're going to use the hammer of Matiar to continue working on the steam engine. So we're going to put 3 more ticks on that, so it goes up to 6 of 8.
What's the idea, Alice? You got your hand up. I'm sorry. This is not.
No, I was gonna ask, why y'all working on steam engines? What's that for?
So Sean really wanted. So Sean designed the ability to convert carts into radish growing farms, which is why you get so many radishes. Which means that he will get food whenever the clock's complete. And so he spent, I think, 2 games trying to figure out how to grow horses, and he couldn't figure it out until finally he was like, I don't need horses, I need steam engines. Then I can just make out chemicals as fuel. And so this is a mad plan for him basically to create the ability to use fire oil as gasoline to drive steam engines as if they were horses.
Yes, exactly.
It's wild.
And watching Sean post messages about this that he posts after the game ends.
My entire thing, like I have this idea that the quartermaster's just building a fucking railway like this entire time.
Yeah,
they're basically like steam stagecoaches. They're not engines in the sense of like locomotives, right? But like definitely. So 3 sessions ago, 4 sessions ago, something like that. They found a very famous Orite clockwork maker who knew a bunch of recipes. And so they saved him and his daughter. And the quartermaster's like, so can you build me, can you make a coach go? And the guy's like, yeah. So
yeah, it started with like, I was like, can you build me a scorpion that will shoot down this giant serpent? And all the clockworks around it was like, you know what? I actually don't really care about that as much anymore. I care about the stuff you did to automate that. Can you do that on a massive level? Well, we need a big engine. So we went into the mines and we got some ore that would support it. So there's smiths pounding this giant basin for the engine itself, and there's the clock. There's the more skilled laborers doing the actual intricacy of the gears. We're straight up manufacturing right now. And while they're doing that, our 2 alchemists, mine alchemist Ruben Garasi and Landgrave Aurora Rodano, are working on a concoction to convert coal into coke and turn it into fuel. So Shrash, I think we said that was a 4-tick clock.
I believe so. I'm gonna see if I can copy the snake killing scorpion over here, and I'll just rename it and reset it. So do you know how alchemists work, Sean?
I do. Well, I think I do. I roll the number of alchemists and dice.
Yes. First we have a conversation, and you say, how dangerous is this? And I'm going to tell you, it's not super dangerous. So if you get a 6, they're going to get 0 corruption because it's not super dangerous. But if you get a 4 to 5, you have to put 1 tick of corruption on either of them. And if you get a 1 to 3, you have to put 2 ticks of corruption on them.
Right.
New question: Does Zora's kiss work on alchemists?
No.
Man, is there a reason for that?
They aren't Legion.
You need to talk to Zora. I don't know.
Next long-term project, Zora.
Can
Isn't
you
she
eat
just
corruption?
hungry for corruption?
So by the way, there are rules in the book. For those of you that get the full book, there are rules in the book for how to convince Chizin to attempt to perform miracles. The downside is if they don't roll well, it usually goes very, very poorly. You might lose alchemists.
I have this idea that like it's definitely not like I don't think it's canon, but I have this idea that Zora won't do it because alchemists are blighters creatures.
That is actually correct. Mercies and alchemists are actually bound to other gods. So she may not be able to touch them.
Or doesn't think it. I love the idea that she can, but refuses to because it's.
You should talk to her. I don't actually know the answer until you force it. It's not written into the book, so we'll make it up. I love that, Alice. Maybe we'll run with it.
Yeah.
So by the way, for anybody that oh Judd, that's Legionnaire. Hey Zora, could you heal Zora? Fuck alchemists. Sorry, F-bombs. My bad. But let's talk about just real quick for everyone playing at home. The answers change. There are things that are canon, right? So like we know that there are certain locations, we know what the map looks like, we know that at Markfields happened. That's written, that's part of the book. But why doesn't Zora heal alchemists? I don't know. Come up with a reason. Your answer will probably be different than ours, and that's okay. Right. Everyone's game is custom. The only thing that is canonical is what happens in your game. So yeah, anyway, roll some dice.
All right. So to clarify, the amount that I rolled determines how much corruption they get, but also
first you roll 2 dice to determine how many ticks, then you roll 2 dice that determines how many corruption. So you roll both times the number of alchemists.
Right. All right, here we go. Here's our first one for our progress.
Oof.
All right.
Well, at least you didn't roll that for corruption, but that's cool. I'm gonna put this side to 1 tick. So they've made some progress. It's not a ton, but it's some.
All right. It still says snake killing scorpion.
Yeah, I'm fixing that right now. Right. I actually noticed that, but I was like, I'll give you a tick first. And now you should roll for corruption.
All right. So now I'm going to roll for corruption. And it's the same thing.
And now it doesn't.
All right.
Hey. So you got to put 1 corruption on one of them.
All right. And let's pull it up. All right, so that was a 1-for-1 trade there. Not the worst, not the best. I'll take it. And yeah, we have. Okay, so mine alchemist Ruben Grassi is the one to get his hands dirty, and they have an 8-tick clock for corruption, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Corruption, 1 of 8. Okay, and. That is, Marshall, you marked our morale up to 10.
I did indeed.
Okay, I marked our supply down because I did 1 extra action. And that is transmute coal to coke. Okay, that is the campaign actions.
I have 1 more free play scene before we advance, if that's okay. Or it can be during the advancement or after the advancement.
Sure.
I think it's actually with the quartermaster. So I think it's like late one night, and the quartermaster notices that there is like a light on in the quartermastery, and one of the people that is responsible for like watching the supplies or whatever comes to fetch you.
Sure.
And the person's like,
yeah, I don't think the quartermaster is sleeping in barrack mines. He's like constantly being like, hey, we can do this and we can do that and we're gonna pull that out of the mine. Yeah, he's not sleeping here. It's too much work.
Well, one of the guards comes to fetch you, right? Like, and you know, they're like, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure. He looks very flustered and maybe a little scared. What do you do?
What is it?
This is Zora went into the quartermaster. I Can you really
What
stop a
is she-
chosen?
What?
Yeah, I could.
What?
What is she doing with my things?
Not our, my.
Touch
Yeah,
all your
no.
stuff.
It's definitely my. Yeah, no. I think he was like working on some plans, and he just sets them down and makes a beeline for the tent.
Awesome. I think there's like 2 or 3 other guards, but they're standing at the door and they're not going in because like they don't want to fuck with this.
Yeah.
Well, my pay grade.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yep, that's almost exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
So I assume the quartermaster goes in.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think before he goes in, he's looking over at the hammer of Matiar, like,
If it's being used in the smithy, it's still there.
yeah, it's being used, and he's looking at it like he has half a mind.
He thinks about bringing it.
He thinks about bringing it in just to make
Okay.
a point, but he's like, it's too late. Fine, I'm going in there.
All right, awesome.
So yeah, he walks in, rolls up his sleeves. See what does he find inside?
So Zora is the majority of the quartermaster is fine.
Yeah.
Zora's leaning against a shelf, and it looks a lot like a drunk person who's like fallen over kind of thing. And she's got do you remember those like giant black spears that what's its heartless that throws?
Yeah.
The bar black spears.
Yeah.
She's got 2 of those. Like you see her and she's sitting in a pool of her own blood, and she's got 2 of those going like through her back and like partially out her midsection. And she's like knocked over a bunch of boxes, and she's holding on to a handful of reliquaries. And when you walk in, she kind of like looks up at you and goes, "Hey, farmer," and she looks like pale and unhappy.
Yeah, I think he was like, ready to like give her the, get out of my, get out of my office, and then like, yeah, hey farmer, and then sees her and is like, you should probably have someone look to that. That's an ugly scratch to like the giant hole she has. It's probably gonna leave a scar.
She shakes her head a little bit and says, looks at you and says, like, "Hey, I thought I was clever. I thought my speed could compensate for that goddamn armor he hauls around, but I didn't expect him to be that fed." And she just looks at you.
Fed, and he kind of comes over and he wants to assess, like, can he actually help her with these, get these spears out of her.
They're designed to rip you apart coming out. Like a human would be dead ages ago, and if you pull them out of her, it's going to require surgery to like try and open her up in such a fashion that they could even be removed. Like it's got like nasty hooks and spikes and everything. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
it's better to push it through than pull it out.
Or like,
it's barbed both directions. Really.
You want to break both sides and just make it as like less intrusive as possible for now.
Yeah. But yeah, she just, I mean, you kind of look at it and you're just like, oh, well, if you were human and your blood wasn't giving off a faint radiance, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
But she like lets go of a handful of like little reliquaries. And reliquaries, if you remember, are like basically like holy oil, and they've got some like glass, and they're capped on both ends. There's usually like a finger bone or a knuckle or something like that in there. And 5 drops to the ground. And for a fact, like you count your stocks and you know that everything's like, accounted for. And these ones still have the oil and they still have the caps, but there's nothing inside them. It's like she drops empty containers on the ground. And she just she looks at you and she says, it's gonna take a little more than some antiseptic to take care of this. But she like pauses and then says, but I got him.
I think like he was kind of a mind, he wasn't like really sure where he was sitting. He's like, when she says I got him, he's like, it like that lifts his spirits too. And the quartermaster's like, okay, stop trashing my place. Wait here. And he wants to go get Rhea because she's the medic and get his best skilled laborers who are going to like get in there with like little files and saws and like cut those barbs off.
Get
and,
the magic hammer.
I don't know that the hammer would help in this case.
Get the magic hammer.
Yeah, so he's gonna bring in like his best people, Rhea to obviously tend the body, but like his best skilled workers to like remove these things under Rhea's instruction. Yeah, like, we're not feeding her the magic hammer.
No, the magic hammer is to knock her out.
Oh, okay.
And then yeah, I think I'm gonna spend one of our religious supplies, which we do not have much of.
Also, I have a question. The magic hammer is the hammer of one of the twin gods, right?
Yeah, it is.
And the spear is the other one.
Yeah, that's true.
What happens if you get both and one person holds both of them?
Well,
I don't know.
No.
I want both.
Alice is like, set weapons! Like, I get 2% extra strength!
Set weapons.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know that she eats this stuff. Has her power manifested yet? Has her power to eat corruption manifested yet?
No, but I think this is the first time you see it, actually. I think, like, if Rhea shows up, Zora's going to have a quiet conversation with her. And Rhea, you can confirm this. Like, Zora tells you, she says, like, I've taken 1,000 battle wounds. But, like, it's almost like she knows what it feels like to have things shoved through certain parts of her. But you can confirm this, right? Like, you look at it and Zora's like, look, if you take it out, she says, like, I'm gonna bleed out so bad that I'm gonna go under, and I don't know how long it's gonna be before I can get back up again. So what she says is, like, she literally tells you this. She says, like, at this point, it's a race between whether I can recover faster than my brother.
Yeah. And Rhea was on the mission for the last mission to put down Osingra, right?
Yeah.
So Rhea has seen what
is Rhea like taking a step back because she's not sure if Zora's gonna like
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Judd, did Judd not know? Sorry, Judd.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why the lore keeper is obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Rhea is probably more scared of Zora now than ever, and like I feel like that happens every week. She's just more and more scared of this person.
I mean, she's terrifying.
But
she's the chosen.
So
I'm doing my job.
I think what I want to do a research roll.
Also, I imagine Dr. Feelgood doesn't work on a chosen.
It might. We don't know. We'll have to make a fortune roll. Yeah, make a research roll. Hell yeah, make a research roll. This is what it's for. Research is awesome. Everybody at home playing?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do I need to decide anything before I roll, or do I just roll?
Tell me what you want to know as an answer.
I want.
Oh my goodness. That is the best. That was full nostril.
That's amazing. What I would like to know is, I would like Rhea to assess whether it's better to like rip the Band-Aid off fast or try and be careful about it. Because
best way to remove them.
Best way to remove this awful barbed thing.
I know that the quartermaster doesn't have stress to spend to assist, but I feel like since we're assembling a pool for fortune, we're basing on Rhea's research. I feel like the quartermaster can provide the equivalent of books and researches and scrolls and things like this in terms of like I have a lot.
I think so.
I have lots of tools and laborers to
fortune roll. Sounds good.
Cool. With one bonus die? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I got a 4.
That research helps. So you're trying to decide how this best works, and you're consulting previous texts, and also I assume you're speaking to Zora.
Yes.
All right. Here's the deal. This is the noise that Zora tells you. Zora tells you that she needs something to essentially like kickstart her, because she says like, you're like, if I'm super 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 careful, it's probably going to take us weeks to remove this, and it's going to take weeks for her to heal up. Now, a human can't heal up from this kind of wound, but like Zora will, right? Yeah. And so you realize that it can't be done without any help. But what Zora tells you, and like the two of you like talk about this, and it's really hard because she has to like focus to kind of be present in the moment, because she doesn't seem to see like the immediate moment the way that you do, right? But like she actually does talk to you a bit, and she mentions that like she knows of a place nearby that might have the resources she needs to like patch herself up. But she tells you that it would be better to like rip it out then, like when she's near something that she can like, herself with, because it'll be like a shorter recuperation cycle. Like it'll drop her further, but she'll come back up.
Right. Like, well, and we won't have to transport her while
she's bleeding
like
out.
after we've ripped this thing out of her.
Yeah. So just so you know, Sean, the laborers that cut that thing apart, they're going to take corruption in their hands from anyone that touches it. It's basically like toxic, the black spears.
The spear, yeah. I think we know that to the extent that like they will use gloves and try to be careful. Not to say like they won't get corrupted, but like just like that. I think we are judicious about working on it.
I think that they don't become corrupted because Zora takes the corruption from them, right? Like that's where you see the manifestation of the kiss, right?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I was about to say, would it not be more like if we were going to have to take corruption, we could have specialists do it and we'd clear it next cycle anyways.
Yeah.
If we just don't have corruption, then we don't have corruption.
Most specialists are not super great at fine motor control, rig manipulation with cutting and tools and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say Rick can
work on like I said,
Rick can.
Well, I was saying if we like ripped it out, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is perfect because I'm going to give her a nice, soft bed of dirt to lay down on. She can take a dirt nap.
Doesn't have radishes.
It's got radishes underneath. That's what it's growing in because it's this nice, soft, fertile soil. And we're just going to plop her down on it and we're going to throw her on the cart and move ahead.
I do not want to know what her blood does to radishes.
Who even knows?
They make you extra brave. You want to go and hunt werewolves. All right, cool. So shall we roll some advancement?
Yeah.
Alice, since you are our guest commander, you get to roll. I believe there is a commander sheet in there where Jay. Well, no, actually, nope. It's right here. You folks have 2 pressure, so that's what you're at.
Yeah.
Cool. So I roll 2d6.
That's right. Oh no. Well, because the Zora is Star of the Dawn, and her pushing back Render's troops actually buys you some time, right? Sure. So you're going to be rolling 1d6 at the moment, unless Sean spends horses.
Yeah, unless I spend my steam engine, which isn't built yet, but it will be soon. And then when it is, I just want to do everything Zora can do, but better. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Is Quartermaster just wants to one up Zora.
Horses or no?
I'm sorry. I'm looking to see if we have them. Probably no. No, we don't have horses. So
okay, 1d6.
Yeah.
4.
Cool.
All right, so that's 2 ticks. So I'm gonna clear your pressure. Jay actually usually does this, but I don't think you have permission. So give me just 1 second.
Nah, do it. Fucking rock it.
Pressure done, and time gets to.
What's our time up to?
Tick. You're on your second clock, and you just crossed the halfway point. So you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ticks in.
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Why are the grinning ravens requesting radishes from that particular
That's effing hilarious.
We want those radishes.
Awesome. So now we're going to talk about missions. So for those of you in chat, I think we have the mission link all set up.
Yep.
Cool. So there are 3 missions. The first one is Raging Serpent. And well, actually, before we talk about missions, let's talk about Gallows Pass. It's a cool place. It's I as I obviously stall for time in order to pull it up on my screen here. Give me just one moment.
You want me to?
Nah, I got it.
Okay.
So this narrow mountain route has been worn into the rock from thousands of pilgrims making their way through this awe-inspiring territory. Some sections of the path have small alcoves for the dead carved into the rock. Huge statues are carved partially into the mountainside, many half sunk in the ground over time. Their origins are disputed. Some claim them to predate the Old Empire, while others speculate that they were erected during one empire dynasty or another. Much of the path is below the tree line, and gray leafless trees weather the winds that cut through the mountains and canyons, stirring many ropes hung from their branches. Once, pilgrims would hang offerings from them. They would like take like kerchiefs and put an offering in and tie it, to a tree. But the cold howling winds and bare rock and trees cast them in a different light, one that's given the pass its name. The weather on the path is fickle, and avalanches, inclement weather, and the occasional disappearance or overgrowth of the path itself makes it very hard to traverse. Numerous forks in the path lead towards shrines, sacred springs, caves, and the like. Many such sites can be found here for those hardy enough to reach them. Even now, pilgrims can still be found traversing this isolated path, though these days they are few and far between. Besides travelers, there are a few people who live in this area, the occasional reclusive ascetic, a shrine attendant, or a goat herd. The area is far too barren and requires resources to be brought up to this elevation from the outside. So Assets Rating 0, obviously, and let me tell you about the special rules. The special rules are whenever you advance here, you always add +1 time because there is no clear route and bridges that would allow for easy access have not been upkept. Also, any legionnaire not wearing winter clothing on a mission should wake up in the morning with level 1 harm frostbite unless they take precautions to mitigate that somehow or make a prowess resist. So,
Get cold.
Elevation and nasty mountain paths with trouble traversing with wagons and large crews, right? So like the smaller your group, the easier it is to go left and right. So there are 3 missions here. The first mission is one of the critters that lives at this elevation is giant friggin' snakes. And when I say giant friggin' snakes, I mean like things that are like 50 feet long. They're huge. Okay, maybe like 25. But they usually they leave humans alone. They'll eat goats, they'll eat your horses, but they generally don't mess with humans because humans are just too much trouble, right? Like they're big animals, right? They're scary, but they're not exactly like, people tell stories about them being more threatening than they are. As a matter of fact, you folks have seen skeletons of a very similar giant snake that Blighter animated, and she had an extra infamous for a bit until you scorpioned it into the ground. But there is one particular snake. It's a big black snake that is, most of them are just, snakes, and they hide in their holes and occasionally pop out and they'll eat a goat or something. But there's one particular giant black snake that maybe is 50 feet that has apparently 100 swords and spears and other things stuck into its sides and all over itself. And it seems to be very, very unhappy. And there are rumors that it's been actually assaulting like caravans and other things. And again, it doesn't seem to kill people so much, but it'll eat your horses, it'll wreck your wagons, it'll root through your stuff. And that's I mean, you have delicious smelling things to it, right? Like it doesn't want to leave you alone. So there's a mission. The mission is Operation Raging Serpent, very aptly named. It said it said that its nest has the remnants of 100 meals. Like the snake ate a bunch of stuff and then just, there's remnants of 100 meals that we could pick through for supplies. But best to try and deal with it outside during the day rather than have to go picking through holes in the ground. It's bored in the mountainside. So mission rewards: horses and radishes safe, +2 morale. Looting that nest, +1 supply. And the penalties are horses and radishes nom nom eaten, +1 pressure, +1 time.
I see you enjoyed the Sekiro snake.
So it's actually like the penalties are obviously it's going to slow you down, it's going to harass you, it's going to make paths harder because you're going to have to set up like wider camps and perimeters, and the mountainside is not particularly conducive to that. So all right, the second mission is called Operation Golden Spear, and this was a wild roll, let me tell you folks. I rolled religious mission, it's like great, and then there's on the chart where you like gain favor, and I just kept rolling favor over and over again. I got like 3 favor before I actually got the mission type. So it's actually, oh, Rika, whoops. I should say religious, my bad. It's a religious mission. And its favor types are mercy, wild, and glory. Glory being Zora's, of course, favor. So when he incarnated several hundred years ago, Gerholtz the Hunter, one of the Aldermani chosen, fought a huge wolf in the Duresh forests. It's said that after 3 days of fighting, the two became inseparable friends, the wolf laying at his feet as he passed. The connection between the two clearly affected the beast. It survived over 100 years. When Gerholtz was broken, the wolf changed. It was pushed out of Duresh and Talgon by the other giant animals that live there, and now it haunts the mountains. It's said that the wolf now walks on 2 legs and holds Gerholtz's famous spear, Sunrender. So mission penalties, none. This thing is largely hiding in the mountains. It's not going to give you crap if you don't go looking for it. But if you happen to go looking for it and, you somehow manage to get the spear away from it, you get a cool magic spear. Yeah! Set bonus.
I really want to know what happened. Okay, so in the games I played, a bunch of the artifacts, like when you took them or put them on, changed you, like made you kind of part chosen.
We've seen that with the hammer, where your bones shake.
Yeah.
And you
I really want to know what happens if you have both in the same, like if you're holding both of them, because I think you might just become an actual chosen that's a melding between the twins, and I want it. I want it for y'all. I won't be able to take advantage of it, but I want it.
The final mission is, of course, the very, very famous Kivala mission, right? And I think that this mission actually shows up because Zora goes to the command tent, right? And she actually has the Lord Keeper bring maps, and she actually points to a spot in the mountains, and she talks about the fact that there is a temple there, where they say that during the Quiet Era, at least 2 people that were subsequently chosen were trained. And there's a rumor, but Zora confirms it, which is that if you light the fires of Kivala and you keep them burning for a week, you will receive a blessing. And this mission is, but what Zora tells you is, she says that the one thing that will probably heal her faster than her brother, right? Like the thing that'll get her back to fighting strength faster than Render is the fires of Kivala. If you take her and you immerse her in the flame, she'll be able to absorb them for a week, and then that should be enough to fix her. And you have to understand, this is pretty distressing because Zora has been this unassailable bastion of force, right? That the Legion has used a battle cruiser, right? She's been killing things left and right and being this weird, mysterious, creepy person. But now she is pale. She, her eyes are sunk in. She's continuously leaking. When she's pointing at the map, there'll be red drops left behind. It's really disconcerting because she looks tremendously ill. But yeah, the mission rewards for this are, wow, is it 2 morale and 1 supply? Let me double check. Yeah, it is. It's 2 morale, 1 supply, and you get a blessing. So you choose one, and you may mark 1 tick of time to pick an extra one. The first one is all Legion specialists gain 2 XP. Your chosen gains 2 favor of their type, and the last one is promote 2 rookies into soldiers. So the blessings of Kivala are incredibly powerful.
Dang.
But you do have to hold it for a week, right? You have to hold it for a week. So that's the thing. And when Zora talks about Kivala, there's 2 squads that are kind of raring to go, because one of those squads is the Lions, right? If anyone's gonna get blessed, the Lions are we're the Legion's finest. We should do the finest stuff. This is the coolest thing ever. The other one, of course, is the Ravens, who are technically, it's the Ravens' duty to be the second wave and to hold positions. We are the best at holding positions. It's technically our job to hold positions. If you're going to hold Kivala for a week, we should be the ones to go. It has nothing to do with Zora. We're totally going because of Zora. Yeah. So the two of those squads are both you've actually seen them around camp, trying to one up each other, they're all kind of kibitzing at the marshal, are we going? You can send one of us. Commander hasn't big wishes yet. This is the setup here.
So thought process. If you do the second mission as a secondary and Kavala as a primary, and you succeed at both of them, that's like theoretically 3 XP for Zora, which means 1 away from advance again.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It's also we would lose. We'd get pressure and time. Yeah, and it means that if we lose a couple people on the secondary mission, if we succeed at it, the morale will stay because morale is up to 10 now, and keep our morale high as well.
Like I said, there's a bunch of stuff that really makes you want to make the wolf one the primary, but I understand it being like the least important of them. But I refuse to allow it to be anything other than the secondary. So I think my decision, if it's my decision, is Kavala primary, wolf secondary, and the snake can fuck off.
Quartermaster will be very upset that these radishes are getting eaten.
And the quartermaster can get flipped off.
What do the marshal and the lore keeper think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the lore keeper is pro getting that spear because the lore keeper also would like to see what happens if one human person holds both of them.
I seriously think we might just create a chosen.
I don't know that we want to do that. Like, I mean, I know for a fact, like Rhea has some like capital D doubts about Zora being a good guy, right?
So are we the baddies?
Right? Well, but also like we spent this whole freaking game trying to keep the hammer away from Blighter. We don't want Blighter to get the spear.
John and Chad went, my radishes!
Yes.
I'm dying. Sorry, continue.
Also, definitely. Well, so here's the thing. Technically, there's no penalty for the mission, but it is within Strash's power to be like, but also, the spear.
All consequences, all choices, roll forward is one of the GM's duties, is the fact that your decisions need to matter. If you skip a mission, I have to bring it forward. So like a lot of the problems that they had was because they skipped certain missions. And I was like, oh, cool. They don't block Render's advance. Render moves north now. And they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do the stop the lower passes mission. Like Rad, he attacks your camp. So like I have to bring the fiction forward. Anything you choose not to do, I have to make count, right? Like the same way that the stuff that you do is going to give you bonuses and count, right?
So, like I said, would absolutely love to make the wolf one the primary because we don't want Blighter to have that spear, but I'm willing to be talked down from that.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's think about who we have to send. As of last time, it's a religious. And
it's religious. I'm sorry. It says recon. I'll fix it.
No, it's cool.
I'll fix it in post so that we have the sheets correctly.
What do we need for religious missions?
A medic or an officer.
Okay, we only have a medic.
Yep.
What about for supply missions? What do we need?
Supply is heavy, scout,
or officer.
Or officer.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Kavala is not.
They're both religious.
They're both religious.
Okay.
You don't have a specialist for one of them.
So we'll get the officer back for the secondary.
I don't think our officer's back until we get to Dresh Forest.
Yeah.
Or Talcon Forest.
Oh, gotcha.
So we don't. So we can't actually. Well, we can, but we're gonna lose.
You're not gonna have a specialist.
It's gonna mess up. Now our sniper has strategist as of last session, so she gives +1 engagement rolls, so she can sort of accommodate for that.
Yeah,
but
she can soak that minus.
Soak that minus, but I don't think we want to have her soak that minus. I think we want to have her. With the right person like Rhea to actually get a good roll on the secondary mission. But
has it ever mattered for y'all in the past?
Yes,
Fair
second
pass.
missions wreck us every single time.
That's what I mean. If it doesn't matter, why try to hedge your bets there? Why
Because
not?
if we roll a 1 to 3, we both fail the mission, and
I'm messing with you.
and we get. I'm okay with a 4 to 5, but I'm trying to at least get us a 4 to 5 on that secondary.
So having the medic and the sniper on the secondary makes sense if you want to try and get a good engagement roll there. If you're confident in your ability to do well on the primary, regardless. The only problem there being the sniper would do very well on Kavala. Like that is where you want a sniper pretty badly. How's your scout treated actually?
Our scout is
shell shocked. So
is still shell shocked. We only have a heavy, a medic, a sniper, and
yeah.
no, that's it actually. We
Heavy
only have
medic
3
sniper. You have 3 specialists.
Yeah, we're short a specialist.
Alice, you remember we had like 9 specialists at this point?
Oh yeah, we had ridiculous amounts of specialists. We were
in our home game.
Now I could retcon this and say I've spent a supply and do a R&R action and get our scout back into play.
And that sounds like the only call to me. That seems like the best idea.
That's a big fat waste of my supply to me.
But it's true, but your other option is, well, I don't know. Do people have like 2 soldiers that you play?
Also, here's the if you're saving the scout and the medic to make sure a secondary succeeds because you're confident in your ability to finish a primary without like the engagement roll, that means you would only be going into the primary right now with 1 specialist.
Right.
Multiple soldiers possibly though.
Multiple soldiers possibly.
Yeah.
But that's still a scary call. I think having a scout, especially for like, let me actually check what your scout has ability wise.
I have no idea. We haven't really seen them much.
Whenever there's
Our
a question.
scout has like the wind and Daredevil.
All right, Daredevil's okay. If you had a ghost or infiltrator, I'd say that's like a must-have for Kavala. But they're not really built to be super useful. But Scrounge is still like getting supplies, right?
Scrounge or finding cover, which might be really important.
Yeah, Scrounge is going to be really useful there. I think that's worth it as the commander, but that's also not my call.
Yeah, it's up to Marshall to say who's going where anyway.
Technically, it's up to you to spend the supply to even make it possible.
Yes.
I know, right? So, Marshall, do you want a fully stocked group of specialists for this mission? Or do you want to send us with somebody short?
Well, here's the thing. Our only squad with soldiers is the Grinning Ravens.
Yep.
Who are down 2.
Yep.
So
Reinforce them. Or send the soldiers with someone else.
Yeah.
Reinforcers, switch up squads. Like that's not a.
You could put 2 shattered lions with them.
Just saying.
You could do the glorious plan of add the soldiers to the Shattered Lions and then send them.
Oh my gosh.
The Shattered Lions are full. They don't need anybody added to them.
But my point being, switch them out. Like merge Shattered Lions and Gripping Ravens a bit.
Actually, that's not bad, Misha. If you want to make a fortune roll, you can actually go and challenge the Lions and be like, you guys want to go on this mission? Here's the deal. I've got soldiers and stuff in the Ravens. Are the Lions willing to represent themselves by giving us their 2 best for this mission? And like try and sell them on that this is an honor rather than like this is giving it to the Ravens.
You're kind of trying, they're this could go really well.
Yeah, like this is a cooperation between the 2 squads, right? Training exercise.
You can both go on the mission.
You can both go on the mission. Let's form the best 5.
Glory is better than no glory.
Yeah, right. You send the medic.
But I think that before all of this, I mean, if you want to do that plan, we should first say, for all of this, is it worth it to spend the supply to get our scout back in action. I'm okay with it.
You know my opinions.
Yeah.
I know a thing that says that Daredevil might actually be super interesting here.
Yep.
What is the scout?
You should only sense.
Scout is a Panyar.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, I'm gonna make decisions easier. I'm gonna make more choices. I'm gonna go ahead and spend the supply.
Do we have any religious supplies?
Yeah, we have religious supplies.
All right. None of our
So
soldiers
you want to definitely boost the secondary mission, but the primary is in question. Although, man, if Zora had the Living God's Fury right now, you folks would be set. Everybody has reliquaries. Everybody has Blackshot.
It's
That's where it
true.
gets good.
Yeah.
When does that kick in?
It's not.
No, that's the one that we didn't pick. Yeah,
That
never
is
mind.
correct.
All right. So I'm
See,
spending.
this is what I said, the
What
practical one. Listen to me.
All right.
Indigo was right.
Indigo was
Indigo
right.
was right.
All right. Well, Zora only heals corruption from specialists, not from soldiers, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Although we can talk about that. We'll take a look.
Because some of the ravens have corruption, and it would make sense to me that her favorite squad might get a little help from her.
I think perhaps when she bathes in the fires and isn't half dead, I think that can totally happen.
Yeah. Flavia has 1 corruption.
Yeah.
Okay. So I spent the supply, so that means that Cobalt Raging Blaze gets her final tick, and her shell shock is gone. She has out of that haze, out of that fugue state that she was in after the battle. We've finally said, like, let's actually make sure she's okay, and the quartermaster has, hot spirits and company and people to talk about it with, and long walks and majestic frozen peaks to offer. I talked to Strash about Strash, we talked a little about this before, that with channels, it was reasonable to assume that Zynova could get the benefit of the R&R, even at a distance.
Yeah,
So
I believe so. Because, absolutely.
Apply that to Voyus and Zynova as well. That's it as far as people who are
hurt.
So
all right. Well, so we have the scout back.
Yeah.
Misha, I think you're muted.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
there you go. Now you're back. Took a hot
So
second.
the scout and the medic. Sorry, scout and the heavy on the primary. The medic and the sniper on the secondary.
Which squads are you sending? How are you doing the allocation there?
Yeah, let's try to combine the lions and the ravens in some semblance of play nice or I spank you. All right, so we are. Can you have more than 5 people in a squad?
No.
Okay, just wondering.
So the Legion actually organizes itself. This is a quick aside, but it organizes itself like special forces, which is to say that it has squads of 5, and then it attaches specialists as necessary for missions, which is very different from standard armies. Like, the Legion is not considered normal. They do not behave like standard armies that have like 100 people and it's regimented and there's like supreme chains of command. And what they do is they actually used to have like 50 units of 5 people in like the Ravens and the other ones. So like the squads used to be much more numerous. There would be more of them. So they're like, when there were the 51st Ravens, there were 51 units of Ravens kind of thing. So yeah, this is unusual, but yes, they very much strictly adhere to 5 per squad. That's what they found is the Legion thing, and also it helps with math for our game.
Fair. Yeah, sure. Hold on. Gotta do some rolling. One moment. Figure out who's going where.
You should roll for them. Whoever rolls high gets to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you get a 6? Going on the mission. There's like what does the competition look like? Is it like lifting stuff? Is it dueling? Is it like foot races? Is it
it's soldiering skills. So I want
Sharpshooting?
target shooting. I want some
Who can
sword
cook the
fighting.
best long like rest food?
No, that's not even a question. That's clearly already been solved. That's totally fuchsia.
Ditch digging and ditch filling.
No, that's your thing.
No, quartermaster, stop suggesting peeling potato competitions.
I got what I'm telling you, Marshall, is I got 100 potatoes and they all need peeling, and your stupid sharpshooting is just wasting ammo.
All right, so we're going to make a gray wafting smoke, and Flavia are going to work with the 3 remaining. How far are they? Where are my lions?
Linka, Tonya.
Are going to work with the first 3 lions. So
Can Coral
Linka-
come? Can Coral come?
Sure.
Yay.
Linka, Tanya, and Coral. And Nova is going to stay with the remaining 2, so Fabiola and Equite. And that is going to be our grinning lions for
Your
this
grinning
mission.
lions. And are they going on primary or secondary?
They are going on secondary. Primary.
Wait, no. I thought we were sending them on the secondary for the blessing. That was the whole point.
That's what
A
I
primary
said.
for the blessing.
Oh, is it the primary for the blessing or the secondary for the blessing?
The primary is Kavala. The secondary is the wolf hunt.
That was the other way around. Okay, then yeah. Then we're going to send the Ember Wolves after Gerholtz.
Okay.
The Ember Wolves after Wolfie? I like it.
Very
I think
good.
you get a couple of sullen Star Vipers because you're just like, well, it's a magic mission. It's a magic wolf. You should send the magic squad. And they're like, we're really good at petting dogs. But no, that's fine.
Star Vipers might be sad when I'm going and killing the big snake.
Yeah.
No, they'd become snake cultists and shit. We'd lose. Terrible.
So yeah, that's that. Cool. So now that we know the assignments, are we gonna check my time? All right, let's do the engagement roll.
Engagement, and then
Who's playing who first?
Yeah, martial assignments. Yeah.
Okay, so primary is the Kavala. So that is Kavala. We were doing the medic and the sniper. Yes.
Reverse it.
I think you're doing medic and sniper on secondary
Yep.
Yes.
for the
We're
center engagement role.
the logic being that we're okay having a bad engagement roll for if we're playing a mission, but we want as good engagement roll as possible in the secondary.
Gotcha. All right. Then Sean, you take Cobalt Raging Blaze.
Sounds good.
Jen, you want to be Vitali?
Sure.
Alice wanted to be.
Oral Rifting Dreef.
Yep.
I'm okay just being the normal ass rookie. Awesome. And not being a soldier. Great.
I think you actually get to make a rookie. I don't know that the rookie has a sheet.
Oh, I
mean,
did.
they have
I
a
made
sheet.
that rookie. Whenever I played
I
them
made
in the
that
last
rookie.
session, I made that rookie.
Awesome.
And I will take Grey Wafting Smoke. Sure.
they're a traveling and shrewd Panyar with eel scales and black eyes with devil's own luck as their thing,
That's pretty
because
rad.
like they survived the thing that I was talking about, so like it made sense. Anyways,
It makes sense to me. Yeah, I think that's good. Very
All
appropriate.
right. Oh, intel questions. We have not asked those yet.
Let's talk about them. Alice, I have no idea how much intel you have. You should open the commander file because it's in there.
Roll.
It's a fair amount.
Commander. 3.
Actually, I believe it's 2, not to jump in because we didn't mark one off for the special mission this time.
Yeah.
Jay actually spent an intel to guarantee a special mission.
Well, 2 then.
2, but you still get 3 questions because you get 0, 1, and 2.
Yep.
And there is an intel questions list at the very top. It's in the handouts.
Handouts. Intel question.
Right above the character sheets, yeah.
Yep, I see it. All right, so if you hold 1 or more intel, ask one of the following questions.
You want to do 0 first, probably. But you can do them in any order. It's up to you.
Yeah. Let's see. I know most of the 0 ones, other than I suppose. That's an interesting one. What are 2 approaches could we use on this mission? Like that's an interesting one for this one, if there are any.
So there's a thing that so you folks are gonna have like, that's cool. If you're the commander and you're like, listen, Zora, if you want to go to a freaking temple that's like up in the sky, then you got to tell us a little more about it. And Zora oddly knows a lot about this temple. Like, she's talking about the layout and the fact that like you probably don't need to worry about water because there's reservoirs for snow melt, but food may be an issue because there's nobody left to cultivate it. There's like, I'm actually going to tell you like 3 approaches effectively.
Sure.
The first one is you can actually try and intercept any problems outside of the walls and try and run sort of like raids as they're coming up, which is like a way to deal with problems before they actually engage you. The second obvious approach is to blockade the walls and like just try and fight people from the walls. Now, you don't have enough people to like man the entire temple fortification, but you can actually probably hold off a force of a significantly higher capacity as long as you know like which side of the walls are coming at any given time. And finally, there's a thing that Zora tells you, and she says that the temple is designed to be connected to certain chosen, and she says that she believes that the flames can actually be used to ward it. So she tells you that if you can get the flames attuned correctly, you can actually like use them to aid you. But if the commander's like, okay, so what is it like? Do we do a dance, a prayer, or whatever? And she doesn't really give you any more answer. She's like, appropriate training, but that's all she says. Like, she doesn't really have like a really intricate commentary on that. She just sort of shrugs. And she says, you know, that she might be able to assist someone when they actually get there, but not before.
Sure, makes sense. Let's see.
Know it when I see it scenario.
No, she seems to know what it is. She's just like, look, I can say some words, but it's not gonna make any sense to you.
Did she train there?
Funny you should ask that, but the commander doesn't.
I know.
No, Canada doesn't particularly care.
Lordkeeper does.
Lordkeeper's like, can I go on the mission? No, your command's
Awesome. That's actually very helpful. I would pass that. Who's leading this mission? Who's in charge? Just so I know.
Not Metalli.
Thank you.
The scout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be. It can actually be one of the soldiers, which would make more sense because that allows the scout to move freely without actually being locked down to visual range.
That's true. Although
it's also not that unusual, particularly if you have snipers and stuff, because they wander off into the hills and shoot things.
Do what the fuck ever they're doing. Go.
And then probably gray wafting smoke.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, that's helpful too. Next one. Who's invested in this mission? What's a challenge you might face in this mission? I know that resource.
I think which Broken's troops might be useful because if we know, we can sort of pack supplies accordingly.
I thought it was pretty clear, like with having render up here, but I could ask that.
Alice is correct.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know that Blighter is largely in the hollows, so it would take Blighter a long time.
Oh
to
yeah.
climb this high.
So that just sorry, I was thinking it was the specific troop types because they have Render has a few.
I'll tell you what. You asked that. I will help you out a little. I will give you some specific troop types.
I think what I am going to ask is, I imagine there's going to be elites here, so I'm going to ask what might be a weakness of elite we've encountered in terms of like how can we best prepare for like, because how I'm picturing this in my head is like there's going to be like fucking heartless sieging and shit like that, and so we want to take them down and take them down fast. So if we don't, like, how is it we can be best prepared to like do that sort of thing?
Boryevich really wants us, and he's here. He's in the area, or he really wants Zainova.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Like, why does Boryevich want Zainova?
I mean, who knows? I'm speculating, but he took it very personally that she like got him in trouble and like was the one to be like, hey, everybody, Boryevich is out here, and led everybody on this merry chase.
Yeah, she remember that the Black Oak Knights are Zemyati, right? And Zainova was in charge of the mission that not only got him killed, because you remember he actually got killed.
Yeah.
But she used
Flavia.
Yeah. By yeah, exactly. The person that killed him is on this mission. Let's have a talk about that. But more importantly, she used his name and sort of like threw shame on him. Yeah. And even undead, he still contains some of that Zemyati mountain clans pride kind of stuff. Right? She like talked about how their trees are blackened and their choices to stay by Render's side are wrong, right?
Yeah,
and he clearly responded to that. Again, talking about things that you did in previous missions and me pushing it forward. So I actually used him to replace an already existing elite, right? He clearly has pride. He clearly has an attachment to his mortal self, and you can clearly provoke him. So unlike most of the undead, because like 99% of the undead that you've encountered who are true undead, they don't talk. You talk at them. They're just like, whatever, human, I'm going to eat your face. But this one actually seems to care and have feelings, which is weird.
We could like provoke into like single combat with the person that wronged you and lay an ambush sort of shit.
Lure him in a trap, all sorts of stuff like that. You could call him out. Sway rolls may actually work on him because even though he only has one feeling, which seems to be like hatred or rage, it's still a feeling that you can lead him by the nose by, right? Or undead appendage covered by a giant metal helmet. But you know what I mean.
Natalie, how's your sway?
Curiosity. Tell you.
Well, if someone's playing Flavia is literally the person that killed him.
My sway I thought nothing. Natalie has no sway.
Nobody is currently playing Flavia.
Okay. That could also change, right? Because you ask these questions so that you know how to deploy.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a thing. The other thing is that Metali bounced that hound pretty hard. That hound probably wants some payback. So I don't know. Metali could intimidate it. It could discipline it. It could provoke it to come at him.
We brought people that are susceptible. Cool.
Yep. There's a good chance that you'll see something like that. Maybe these will appear. Maybe they won't. But they're very likely. You've seen them a lot lately, and you know that they're further ahead of Render's troops. So there's a good chance you're going to see them on the way there.
Yep, that makes sense. Those are my questions.
You get one more. You get a 2 or more intel.
Oh, right. I forgot. Intel questions. What's an officer letter we might face on the mission? What's the main weakness of the undead's position? That's probably the one I'm asking. That we already know. Challenges, problems being that we have to hold this location for a week or longer.
I want to send food.
Yeah. I think I'm going to ask. Interesting that the elite question is 1 intel and the infamous is 2 intel. That's an interesting thing. What's the main weakness of the undead's position on this mission?
That's a tough one, right? No, actually, I know the answer to that. So you know for a fact, like I'm just gonna outright tell you this, like you folks know that this isn't gonna go by unchallenged, right?
Yep.
But Render is wounded, and Render is back at camp, which means that nobody's giving orders, and the undead are sort of protecting him, which means that nobody should be coming after you, which means that their troops may not have the same level of support that they usually do. So theoretically, if you hold a position for a week, they could send 100 people at you, but they can't, right? Like their supplies are going to be stretched, and they're only coming here probably with very few people that shouldn't be coming in the first place. So they're going to be a lot more bluster than they're going to be, like, not to say that a Heartless isn't still going to wreck stone and use super strength to like maul people,
Yeah.
but they're not going to have the like logistical support, the extra ammo, all of that other stuff that is going to make them basically an unceasing force that's going to besiege this in a fashion that 5 people couldn't possibly fight them off.
So you said that like raids might be an effective way to fight them,
Yeah.
stuff like that, like hitting them like while they're up the mountain or like while they're supplying and things like that would maybe even shorten this longer.
Yeah,
That's correct.
I mean, Flavia
shorten
is
this further,
so she could pack. She could bring explosives to like if we know where they're coming, she could try and like collapse a pass that they're coming through.
Yeah, like
Somebody really needs to play Flavia. You do not want to do that on Fortune rolls alone.
That's fair.
who is this person?
She's just a soldier of the Ravens.
Oh, I can play her rather than Coral. I can play Flavia rather than Coral.
Okay.
If you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
There's some notes in there. She used to be a butcher.
Yeah.
Fucking
As a matter
rad.
of fact, where she killed the one that became a Heartless, she was like, it's just like a big cow. It's just like a big cow.
Uh-huh. Yep.
She's also the Thunder Goddess because she was the first to wield the Hammer of Matiar.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to give it up.
I'm cool playing this person.
Okay, hilariously, she used to actually be the leader of the squad until she refused to give up the hammer, and then the doctor knocked her out with drugs, and
Yep.
now I think Grey Wafting Smoke is the leader of the Ravens.
Yep.
Possibly.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll play Flavia. Cool.
She is a force, though.
Oh no, she looks like a grad as hell. I'm just gonna have to protect Coral now, my precious baby, because they talked Coral into coming, and now they're gonna fucking die because they're not playing them.
Don't worry, you've got grenades. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. First roll of the game. So Coral takes a spear. All right. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll make the fortune roll and jump into the action. Just thinking of time, there's a good chance that we're going to make this a two-parter. We might end halfway through the action.
Oh, I might. That's
Pick up next time. So we'll see. All right. That's it. That's it for now. Folks that are watching, please hang around. We should be back soon.
Yeah.
Sean, you want to do smooth outro?